All right, people, what's good? What's good? You're watching For the Lag of God. And today we are talking to rapper MC Nitti-Ice. What's good, Nitti?
Shit. You know the vibes. We outside. It's Sunday, baby. We woke up today. Got to get that energy right.
Mate, it looks nice as well out there, like all nice and sunny.
Don't let it confuse you. It's nice, sunny, but it's cold.
It's cold over here, but it's pissing down with rain. So
Oh,
you got the
yikes.
you got the you got the better half. You got the better
I
half.
hear that. Listen, I'll take that any day.
Hey, so would I. It's horrible out here. It's horrible out here. Well, yeah. All right. So first is first. In your own words, tell us who is Nitti-Ice.
I say someone that wants to see other people succeed in doing what they love to do, but the way that they want to do it, not following trends or sacrificing the realness and the authenticity of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I want wanting to see people succeed in however they do it is always good. And if someone succeeds as a trailblazer, or someone doing something different, then yeah, I can understand that. That's kind of what I like to try and do here. Like, with the amount of different people that come through, and you see different people doing things, some people are shy, they just need a push. I feel you've got something. If you want to take that feeling, by all means run with it. And if I like what you're doing, like, I'll try and support you as much as I can. You know what I mean? Like, if you needed someone to talk to, whatever. So no, I understand where you're coming from with that. I like that.
My
I like
man.
that. I mean, also as well, for an example, would be you helping me out with my second year uni plan. You
My
didn't,
man.
you didn't
By,
know who
by
I,
the
you didn't
way,
know,
that
you didn't know
song
who I
is
was.
on my next album.
It's fine. It's fine. You haven't got to say it because we're recorded. But no, like, that would be an example. You didn't know me. I reached out to you, and you were just like, "Send it. I'll do it." No, that right there, prime example. No, I like that.
Each
I
one,
like that.
each one teach one. The problem with everybody is that everybody wants to be the top dog and forgetting that you got to remember who helped you get to the top. It's always a team effort. Everybody thinks that they could do it alone, or it's always somebody else behind the force. It's just you are the puppet. I would refer to it as it's in the front, but not by choice. Like you said, some people need a push, and
Mm.
some people are just ready to go. I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm just ready to go. I don't need to push anymore, but it gets there. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're consistent, you'll get to where you need to get to, but you'll also get to who you need to get to by being consistent. There's always somebody waiting to hear your story that's going through the same thing that you went through or you're going through, just so they know that they're not the only person that's going through it.
Mm. Kind of reminds me of something I saw, like, with Curtis King, and he was saying, stay consistent. And
Mm-hmm.
like, this discipline's a tough one. Like, you're not always going to be motivated. That's why you need the discipline and the consistency. But, or as you just said there as well, the right people will find you, and
Mm-hmm.
but they won't always get in contact with you first. For example, like, when I go live, I 100% pretty much can guarantee that they won't come into your live until about 4 or 5 lives later. And then after that, that's when they start being like, "Yo, I like what you're doing. I've seen that you go live, boom, boom, boom," and then that's when the talking starts.
That's how we met. Somebody tagged me in your live video, and I was like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, Stat and Stars. Shout out to Stat and Stars. I remember that. Oh, what was it called? It was like Escobar or something like that.
Press the bar.
That's the one. Yeah, he sent in that, and I was like, "God damn, the Scarface vibes on this." And then and then I was like, "Yo, like this." And yeah, and he like, because he sends in others, and not when their song comes on, and he tags them. And yeah, and then I can't remember what it was from. I think I might have shared it, and then I think you said, like, "Thanks." And then I was a bit of a cheeky monkey, and basically said, "Oh, look, I need this favor. I need a
It
favor."
worked out.
Hey, it
It
did.
worked out.
It did. But yeah, I know. I like that. Okay, so recently you did the hip hop's 50th birthday in Staten Island. As we know, hip hop's been around like 50 years. What was the energy like, and most importantly, how did you feel being a part of it?
I knew about the show since last year. They just didn't give us a specific date.
Mm.
And I already knew like the backlash that was going to come with the show. because I already knew all the artists that were on the bill already before the
Yeah.
show even happened. So the problem with Staten Island is that when people don't get involved or they're not mentioned or they start to feel a way about it, which is cool, I guess, but it's the same artists that are complaining, the ones that are not putting in the work. You see how consistent I am. Listen, if it's an open mic, I'm still going out to the open mic because at the open mic, majority of the time I know the person that's running the open mic, and I'm just going to see other artists there to see who I can work with or learn lessons. You always got to be a student of the game. You can't just come into I've been doing this for X amount of time. I know what I'm doing. You always got to learn from other artists, and I'm an older artist. I'm 35 years old, so the game is ran right now by 20-year-olds and 19 and 18-year-olds. So you got to learn from the younger artists how to not change your craft, but perfect it to the point where I can get on the track with an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old, and they'll still respect my craft from the generation that I come from. So when I got to the 50th, it's crazy because when I first got there, I was the only artist that brought somebody with me to perform with me that wasn't on the bill because you had to clear all the acts before you went. They had a contract you had to clear. So I was like, listen, this is the 50th year of hip hop. What would I look like going to do this show and not at least bringing out one artist that helped me get to where I'm at? So shout out to Handsome High. That's my brother. And he always, since day one where we first linked up, and the first time we linked up in the studio was on my first album, my first mixtape. And from that day, like we've been connected. That was in 2017, 2018. So I've known him since the 4th grade, but we never did music together. So when we linked up, it was golden after that. But me, I was like, listen, one of my boys, Tyrone Briggs, he already had a set. I knew the artist that he was bringing out, which is other people that I would bring out. We're in the same circle, same camp. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring somebody out with me. And then even that gave me backlash because then every other artist that I worked with is like, oh, why you didn't bring me out? Why you didn't bring me out? So the energy out there was crazy. You know, that's probably the biggest crowd I ever performed in front of. It was probably like 15,000, 20,000 people. It was crazy. But the energy, so I had an advantage. Me knowing everybody that was on the lineup, even like Shaheem and Jojo Pellegrino and the Tyrone Briggs and Jastronauts and SJ and every artist on there I know. So the only advantage I had was like, okay, we're gonna do 50 years of hip hop. I know this lineup and I know every one of these people's songs. I know not one of them is gonna do a Spanish song. And that's why I brought out Handsome High, because it's his song that everybody always quotes me for because I'm on the hook and I did a verse, Spanglish. So I was like, listen, I have the advantage because I can do the other part of hip hop that none of them are gonna do. I can bring the Spanish aspect. So once I came out on stage, I was like, listen, I know this is 50 years of hip hop, but let me speak to the Latinos and Latinas real quick. And they went crazy. So for me, it was a go. Like the whole vibe was just golden. Like when we got there, I was early because I had made shirts for Wu-Tang and I put them in my Never Settle shirts with the heart. Yeah. Instead of the X on them, I had put the Wu symbol instead of the X, but I only made it for them. So when I got there, I had the bag, and as I'm walking in, Raekwon is coming off sound check. So we stopped right in front of each other. He's like, "What's good, King?" I'm like, "What's going on? These are for you." He's like, "For me?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's for you if you want to distribute them. Here you go." And it was surreal to me because I'm touching the stage with legends. And he acknowledged me. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, all right, cool. We got something here. And then while we were waiting backstage, while they were doing like all the open acts and the eye battles, shout out to Paul Mars. While they were doing that, backstage, Shaheem was having a talk. I'll post it. I'll send it to you too. It's he was having a talk about like how hip hop acts need to stick together and this, and that, and Staten Island needs to come together as one. And he's talking to me. And in my head, I'm like, this is crazy because this is how I was thinking before I got here. That's why I'm bringing my boy out with me. And it was just a surreal moment. And after that, when he followed me, I was like, oh, that's crazy. He remembered my name at the end of the night. I was leaving with my daughter and my wife. I was like, oh, your set was amazing, Shaheem. Like, I appreciate that. I was like, hip hop at its finest. He was like, I appreciate you, Frank. And I was like, you remember my name? Oh, let's go. Oh, we outside. Yeah, so man. It was definitely great energy.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, man, I thought it like when they said like, you know, or when you put it up that you were going to be part of the part of the 50th show. I was like that's fucking like that's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, like,
and even that was off connections, like we were talking about earlier. That came off a connection of people that I knew that were like, who would be the best fit to put. I think there was only 5 performers besides Shaheem and Raekwon's set where they brought out artists, but there was only 5 other performers on the bill, and the rest of them were my friends. So when they brought me up, I was like, you want me to perform at the 50? I mean, I'm not saying no, but to me, it was a shock because I felt like, as me coming through the game, since I started making music, I always played the background for other artists. I was always the guy driving the bigger artists to shows, to interviews, to do other
like
things.
like a roadie type of role, sort of thing.
Something like that. But at that point, I was still making music, but I played the background for the big. Like, we have a group, Street Pavers, before it was called Oceans 13. Shout out to them. People like Tyrone Briggs and Fluky and Eddie I and Yum and Chris Valentine. They played the main role characters. They were in the front. So for me, this was my first main character energy moment, and I was like, all right, well, they see that I'm doing something, so let's go for it. And since then, it's been love. I've been blessed since then to get people paying for features and paying for me to come do performances at their shows and having me headline open mics for them. It's been a different energy. December 3rd, I'm in SOBs, so it just keeps going and going.
But going back to what you said, like, there was a the sort of like older audience, because like Raekwon, Shaheen, but then you've also got the younger artists. What was it? How can you get them to respect you, like, and your music and stuff like that? But it also kind of goes back to something Judah Priest said when I spoke to him, and because he was saying, like, all these, like, the divide between the young and the old, sort of saying, is the
bridge
old,
the gap.
Yeah, is kind of like, yeah, as you say, how can we bridge the gap? Because you got the old heads are like, oh, I don't understand this younger music, like, oh, it's all crap, and it's just like that's what our parents said to us. Do you know what I mean? That's what our parents, it was like, oh, how can you listen to this shit? And it's just like, yeah, and then the youngs are like, oh, we just, like, it's just not really our thing. You know what I mean? So and then we just kind of end up hating when, it's okay to say we might not, like, okay, we might be a bit old, like, and we, like, depending on people's ages, but we might be a bit old that we don't understand it, but like, talk us through it. Like, it's okay for us to say no, but if we can, like, help in some way, for, like, in order to understand what you're doing, and say, like, the same vice versa, like, how did this come about to influence this, and stuff like that. It's kind of like teaching. All right, I don't know if you call the young ones history, but teaching us what they're working on, and then we'll teach you our history, and then see where we can come together, and see if we can get that divide. Because
I feel like the problem comes with the older generation, because a lot of the, like you said, a lot of the older artists, they're like, well, I don't understand this, so I don't want to work with these people, forgetting that the older you get, it's the younger crowd, the ones that are going to be buying the tickets, buying the merch, coming to see you on shows. So you have to tap into that market somehow. And what better way is to, all right, let me get a couple young artists under the wing and let's collab and let's build on something where it's like your fans will be like, wow, I never thought that they would do something like that. And then our fans would be like, are you crazy for working with this younger guy? But at the end, it all messes together, because remember, nobody liked mumble rap in the beginning. Mumble rap is a part of history. Nobody liked the drill rap. Drill rap is right now. It's not going to be forever. It's obviously, everything has its expiration date, but it's right now. So you have to bridge that gap. If not, it's all a part of history. If you want to be a part of history, you have to get with the times. You see, bridging the gap is just, for shorter purposes, is just, we have to work with the younger artists, and the younger artists need to work with us, because that's the only way to bridge the gap and create an opportunity where they can benefit more and we can benefit as well. Because drill hip hop is not going to be around forever. Everything has its fad. Drill, mumble rap, everything has its fad, and we have to go through those things, and you have to grow through them. If you're not growing through that or figuring a way to maneuver through it, you're not going to last. A lot of the people that can't do that, the older rappers, you notice that Right now, they're only performing their older songs. They're not outside doing any of the young because they don't have that. They're scared to jump into that lane where it's like, for the 50th of hip hop, I did the Spanglish song, but I knew that there was going to be younger people there. So my second song I did was a drill. I did Big Steppers, a drill song. I'm not talking about spinning the block and drilling, but I gave you the drill record where it's like, well, maybe I don't got to talk about killing people or doing all these other things.
I'm a deliver a message, but on the same energy.
Yep.
Sticking with the bridge and the gap thing. I'll admit, I'll throw my hands up. I'm not a big Drake fan, but he is. I think he's definitely one to do it. Like
he's definitely the poster child to do that. Even the first drill song he did was in the pandemic with Fabio Foreign.
He's definitely one to do it, and because now that Cole has J. Cole's put in, or has kind of hinted a lot more about retiring, and I mean, I don't know if we'll get another Kendrick record. I mean, I think we'll probably get one more album out of him in whenever Kendrick does, because Kendrick takes his time. But like, I think that's where Drake has got, because we like everyone laughed at Drake when Drake first came out, and there was always that Drake's probably the type of person to cry at this and all that stuff that came around. But now Drake is like basically the godfather to like all the new guys.
Definitely,
I
agree.
I don't know. I think maybe like 808, like Kanye's 808 and Heartbreaks kind of changed hip hop massively.
Definitely.
And then Drake, because you see it on interviews, like Drake being like was a massive fan, or is a massive fan of Budden, and I think 808s and Heartbreaks changed the game in that respect, and then that's what gave Drake that massive platform. So now Drake is kind of like, well, all these people hated on me, but I'm going to change the narrative and I'm going to show all of them support. If they want a verse, I'll give them a verse. Let's see where this goes. Nurture a talent and see what happens.
Definitely.
I definitely think that Drake got quite a bit more longevity in him still.
I mean, I think he said he's taking a break from making music too.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, well, his son Adonis just dropped his freestyle as well, and he's what, 6?
Yeah, I mean,
but no, I know what you mean. But
it's not my like I said, it's not my cup of tea. But listen, that if my daughter wanted to drop a song, listen, you need help penning it, I'll help you pen it. If not, you got this. Listen, I know some people that can record the video. Whatever you need help with, let me help. So I can't knock it 100%. For me, it's not the greatest song, but he pushing his son. That's what artists are supposed to do if you have kids.
Yeah, again, like I said, I'll throw my hands up. I'm not the biggest Drake fan. I can't stand some of his stuff, and I'll happily accept it. But as I say, I respect what he's trying to do. It's all good.
What's your favorite Drake song?
I don't have one. Don't have a favorite Drake song. Honest to God, I probably couldn't even. I probably can't even name you 2 Drake songs, let alone 5.
Sheesh.
Honestly, I've just never out of the big 3, he's not really appealed to me, or maybe I've just not been shown the right ones.
That could be. I mean, I'm not a fan of a lot of the singing Drake, but when Drake used to rap, there's a song called "Fear" you should hear by him. That's my favorite Drake song, "Fear." And that song, he's talking. It's real talk where you can actually feel what he's saying.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I bought into the whole, the whole social construct thing of everyone hating Drake. I probably brought into that quite heavily. But yeah, but then I quite like J. Cole. It wasn't until I heard "For Your Eyes Only" I was like, God damn, like wow, that was
J. Cole's an animal. J. Cole he's a different breed. J. Cole is, if you ask me right now, artists that are out, J. Cole is probably the number one rapper out right now. He will out rap anybody. He might even give Jay-Z a run for his money right now. And Jay-Z is in my top 5. So J. Cole is definitely up there. Like, he's the most consistent, and he don't even have to drop a song or a project. Even his features are as consistent as his own music. He treats them like they're his songs. And any song that he's on, he makes it feel like it's his song.
Oh man, the guy's a beast. Yeah, so I think it's like Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. Like, I definitely bought into Kendrick, Cole, and like I said, I didn't really mess with Drake that much, but I definitely do appreciate what he's doing, bridging the gap.
I'm definitely gonna send you a list of some Drake songs to listen to after this.
Yeah, you might have to be honest. You might have to.
I got you, bro. You're gonna change your whole perspective after you hear them.
Well, no, I knew he was a massive Budden fan.
That's my favorite artist. That's my number one favorite artist.
I've got a question about it as well. And when I got in, like, because I got into hip hop late, but like Budden and DMX are probably like my two biggest like favorite artists.
R.I.P. X.
Yeah, definitely, man. I was pissed. I was pissed. I definitely thought we might have got like one more from him. You know what I mean? Because
I'm pretty sure he got some stuff in the stash that people haven't released yet.
Yeah, there'll probably be. Oh shit! Hang on. When did it come out? 93, 2003.
Hell is hot.
So, yeah, it's dark and hell is hot. So, I don't remember seeing. Was there a 20th anniversary, or did I just like shut off? Because I swear that was 93.
There was definitely a post about it, but I didn't hear any.
No, it's 98. It's 98. It's not 93. I'm getting it confused with the Wu-Tang Clan, aren't I?
Hey, we outside. Big Staten Island vibes.
Yeah, hey, they just turned. Was it like that album just turned? Was it 30 or something like that? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. November 9th is now Wu-Tang Day.
You feel me?
Yeah. Now that's impact. That's impact. And speak like, speaking of impact as well. You've spoken about talking to Shaheem. What was it like? Kind of tell us what it was like emotionally. Talking to these, like, because they're both legends. They're both absolute legends.
Of course.
Like, yeah. What what was it? And you spoke about Shaheem remembering your name, but when you were there in the moment, like, what was going through your head talking to Raekwon?
It was surreal to me. I was literally surrounded by all of these like legends. They're legends. Nobody can take that away from them. So talking to them is like, it's crazy. And when they acknowledge that you did and you have a say in these conversations, it's like, I can see that some of the things that he was speaking about is some of the similar things that the newer artists go through now, where you'll have 1 million people to go to the club with, but those same 1 million people aren't supporting your artistry. And that's when you have to learn, like, I didn't get it at first, but since that conversation, I've been more aware of who's really for you and who's really not for you. Those people that you can go to the club with whenever, you can call them, hey, you trying to go to the club tomorrow? And they'll say yes every time. Those are people that you got to love from a distance sometimes until you get to where you want to be. They're not going to be the same people that can bring you from Degrassi Drake to Drake now. You got to lose a lot of people. You got to lose a lot of friends. You got to lose loved ones. Everybody doesn't have the same dream or can't see the same thing that you see. That's why they're not given the same dream that you have. Yeah. So you got to learn. And that conversation with them taught me that. With the people that really rock with you, they're going to be there regardless, whether they agree or not. The ones that are iffy on the fence, you're going to notice that because they're going to weed themselves out.
Yeah. Start as soon as things get a little bit different, they'll sort of be like, oh, actually, I got the dentist, or I got go and pick up the groceries, sort of thing. I can imagine that was to be honest, I think if that was me, I'd probably pass out. I'd probably pass out.
It's crazy because it was so hot that day too, and we were outside, so it was like, oh man.
I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine. I know it gets hot over there.
And it was right near the water, so there was nothing really blocking the sun. Only if you were on stage, the stage top was blocking. But other than that, you were in the sun.
Have to put your hat on and the sun protector thing.
It's crazy because I brought a snapback hat like this, and I seen one of my friends with vending over there, and I was like, "Yo, you got bucket hats?" He was like, "Yep, let me get a bucket hat. I need that. Let me switch hats, bro."
Nice. All right, so you spoke about Jay-Z and Joe Budden, and in the artist highlight thing that you did for us, which again, thank you. You also spoke of Nipsey Hussle and Lil Wayne. What is it about them that inspired you?
Well, each one of those artists, they spoke to a different, how can I say? They spoke to a different me that I was going through at that moment in my life. Joe Budden, he spoke more to I could relate to the problems that he was having with women, the drug abuse back then. I could relate to all of these things, and you doing something that you're not sure if people really can mesh with, but it's like, this is me. This is the real me. I'm gonna give it to you regardless. That's what Joe Budden spoke to me about. Weezy, he was the fly, younger, I'm selling drugs, doing all these different, and I got bars to back it up. So like Weezy to me was like, he's nice. Like he can say things in a way that people aren't, his punchlines aren't as same, and he's still the same way now. I've heard new Wayne songs where it's like, anybody hear what he just said? Because that's crazy. Jay-Z spoke to the CEO in me to go and boss up, and you don't have to let what you're around or where you grew up confine you to where you want to go. And that's what Jay-Z was like big on that for me. But then when it came to Nipsey Hussle, literally, I like Nipsey Hussle since the Marathon, the first one. Like I've listened to Nipsey Hussle endless times, and people are like, oh yeah, well I know Hustle and Motivate. That's his last project, bro. Like I'm talking about old Nipsey before he had the big beard. So for me, he spoke to boss up, be your own manager, be your own person that manage artists, start your own record label, own the masters, do these things. He spoke to that to me because he was at that point, he was young and gang banging and do all these things, and I was outside being a nuisance to people outside too. So when he started talking about own your songs, do this, do that, I got my own record label now. I have artists that are signing to me that I manage, that I have to book their studio times, and I book their interviews, and I book the stuff for them. So for me, it was different. It was like, start something that you can leave your kids that's going to be bigger than you and around longer than you will be. So each one of those artists just spoke to a different part of me. We could add Big Pun on that list. Big Pun taught me you don't got to spit bars the way that everybody else spits them. You can make them the way you don't have to do the boom boom clap. You can do boom 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 clap, and then it'll sound different on the beat as well, where now you got to rap faster and you got a different melody and a different tone than everybody else that's doing it.
Yeah, no, I like that. But yeah, like I think if you kind of look at Jay-Z's discography, it is almost like the CEO handbook. Almost. Like as he's grown up, and basically just telling you all these different things that he's done in his music, and now look at him. He's got the where is it? Is it like he's got the exhibition in the museum?
Yep, Brooklyn.
Like like spanning over his career. So yeah, definitely a legacy there as well. And
definitely.
But no, I understand that, Christian. I like that. Like Joe Budden. Oh God, excuse me. Joe Budden spoke to me as well in that kind of sense. Like what goes on here. Just tell it. Just tell it.
Mood music.
Yeah, oh, mate, mood. Are you in that mood yet?
You know the vibes.
Mate, mood music was the one. Mood music was the one. And like the song that still haunts me is Three Sides of a Story for Mood Music 2. Jesus Christ. The way he told
what's your favorite Joe Budden song? One that you can, it don't matter what you can do, you have to listen to that one song.
What from whatever
whichever project, whatever. That number one Joe Budden song for you.
So, oh my God. I'm good, to be honest, more of a sentimental thing as well. And nostalgia. Walk With Me.
I like it. Walk With Me's dope. My favorite one is Black Cloud.
Oh, I wanted to say that as well. Like, but I was like, no, I'm gonna go with the more nostalgic, because when I played Def Jam Vendetta 2, Fight for New York, And as soon as you throw Snoop Dogg out the window, that song plays. And I love that game so much, and it just stuck in my head, and I was there for ages. Like, who the f is Joe Budden? And yeah, and then that's what got me into Joe, was that. And then after that, 10 minutes, that was oh mate.
You got a lot of good ones. You got Sober Up. There's so many good ones.
Yeah. He's like, and Stained from Mood Music too.
Focus.
Oh,
It's crazy because everybody only talks about Pump It Up. Joe Budden's got hit records, like
yeah.
a lot of them.
The thing is, when you talk about Joe Budden to people, they just laugh at you. I don't know if you've got that, but every time someone's like, oh yeah, like who influenced you musically? I'll be like, Joe Budden, and they'll be like, huh, what, the Pump It Up guy? And they were like,
the Pump It Up guy or the podcast guy. In my head, it's like,
yeah,
that's what you paid attention. But I mean, it's similar to the Drake with you. You know what I'm saying? We all feed into social media. Social media is a big part of people's lives now. So we feed into everybody else's opinions, forgetting that they're opinions. Yeah. It's not facts.
Yeah. It's kind of like social media has made the world school.
Something like, I feel like, honestly, if social media is a gift and a curse. Like, it helps you get to reach more people, but it dumbs you down as a person, because now instead of you getting your own opinions or searching for facts, you just listen to everybody else's opinion and you hold that as facts.
Yeah. Oh, and the other Joe Budden one is Escape Route, because that's what, like, on that, I think it's either Forgive Me or State of E, but I think it's Forgive Me. And he says, and then that's where he talks about, because he went after Method Man about that whole list of rappers thing. And yeah, mate, that Escape Route is I love that album. One of my favorite.
I gotta add more people to this list. Like, you got me thinking about 50 Cent.
50 Cent. I won't ask you a top 10. You're all right.
Yeah, top 10 would be nuts. I feel like even top 20 is like, there's so many good artists. Like, and all of them painted a picture at different points in your life where you could relate to something. And even a top 20 list is like, Lord, how?
Yeah, but that
Davies. There's so many good artists.
Yeah. Everyone kind of leaves that. It's almost as if artists become a chapter in your life's book. Sort of thing. Like, when because I just started college when 50 came out in like 2003, and he just brought out In the Club. That was nuts. And then shortly after that, Game came out, and oh god,
he's on my top 5 as well, because he is not. I don't care what anybody says about him. His lyrical game is crazy.
Game was actually one of the artists that got me into hip hop. His song Start From Scratch, I think it's track 11 from the documentary.
That song is fire.
Oh mate.
He even did a part 2 on his new project to that.
Yeah, on the documentary too as well. Is a good album. It's a good album. Although I won't lie, I don't mind documentary, but I prefer Doctor's Advocate.
Doctor's Advocate is nuts. Well, listen, I like all the projects. I'm a Game fan. Like, he may not be the best, like, business person savvy, because he still has that hood mentality.
Yeah, he does. He does have quite the temper. He does tend to fly. He flies off a lot, which I think is what holds him back. I think
he's not too business. Like, he's been one person that's been in my DMs before, like, to work and whatnot. But then it comes down to, oh, how much is your how much you have to spend? Or I'm like, bro, you are in my inbox.
Yeah, you're asking me. For me, I kind of feel that I feel the Game didn't bite as much as he did. They wouldn't have ruined so many relationships, and I definitely feel like Game would be a lot higher. I'm not saying Game isn't high. Game is Game's a beast. I wouldn't.
He's a
Wouldn't
legend.
want to.
You
Wouldn't
can
want
put
to
him with
mess
the
with
legends.
Game.
He's a legend. Just like Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks, there was a whole mixtape generation. Like G Unit,
Yeah.
Dipset, The Locks. Like there was a whole, people forget about that mixtape era.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Lloyd
Yeah.
Banks, Joel Santana, Lil Wayne, everybody was going nuts with the bars.
Yeah. Try like beating or literally as soon as someone dropped a song, you knew that song was going on someone's mixtape.
100%, especially Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was stealing everybody's beats. I don't care.
Yeah, it'd be like yeah, I like your song, but I can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like, well, the start of that like was like 300 bars and running. Like that was a big one. To do that for 15 minutes, Jesus Christ.
So this is my thing.
Like,
You want me to do a feature with you? Lately, the way I've been working is we have a beat.
Wait.
We do all of it right there on the spot because it's more genuine. It's not like AZ sending a Pop Smoke a song where it's, it's gonna be two completely different verses, two different energies, and it's not gonna mesh completely well together. But if we build it on the same spot, we got the same energy, we're feeding off each other. It don't matter who goes first. As long as we pick up the same vibe that we have, it's a go. And it comes out more authentic. Songs work better when you can feed off each other's energy. If we're on the same song, we should be thinking about, all right, what if we perform this in front of 20,000 people?
Yeah.
So that's how I like to go into the features lately. Let's do it on the spot. Let's go create it together right there.
And again, with that, that's, as you say, feeding off the spot, but that's also like, we tried this. Why don't we try that? And why don't we try that? Because if you're in the room, you just like, oh, quick, just hop in there and just do that. Whereas if you're trying to do it with someone else, it's kind of, oh, by the way, I think maybe you should try this. Wait, like, I don't know, you could wait 3 hours, you could wait 3 days. You'd be like, nah, I don't know, man. But yeah, definitely doing it in person, and more of them ideas become more spontaneous and like energies as well. And someone might say something and be like, oh crap, hang on, let me do this, let me do that, or yo, that would be a good idea. And yes, it's that, like, they're in the moment to follow those ideas while they're fresh, because you could say something, you could say, oh, I think when you talk about money, you should get a bankroll like that, like at the bankroll machine, and then and they'd be like, let's try it and see how that sounds. And if it doesn't sound, you can scrap it. Whereas otherwise, you've got to text someone, be like, can we try that? And they'd be like, oh, I'm. Say for example, you send it on a Monday, but they're not back until Sunday. You got to wait a whole week. So.
I also like being present when the engineer is mixing a song, because then you can, like you said, you can add sound effects, add I think I should say this way, drop the beat here, do this. I like having that creative process while I'm doing it. I know a lot of people just like, I'm gonna send it to the engineer, let him do what he got to do. For me, I like to be there when they're gonna mix my songs. So, all right, listen, put a drop here. After I say this, drop the beat, pick it back up, make this sound effect, do this, do that. Some engineers, they like that. Some people don't like it. So even working with engineers is different. I only work with a few.
If that's what you want to do and send it off to people, as long as you trust those people you're sending it off to, that's good. And if they have an understanding of you, that's also good. But if you're there in the moment, like you say, I think, oh, we should drop this for emphasis. Like, if, say for example, you're saying something and you wanna drop something out to more emphasize what you're saying. And also, if you can be there with the producer, because it works both ways. You're both, well, okay, you're the one telling the story lyrically, but it's them who's
putting the story together.
Yeah, they're putting the story together. They're creating the aesthetic for the movie that you're painting.
And you're just a narrator. That's it.
Yeah. So and that's how you come together. Like, you could say, this is the story I'm gonna paint, and you can paint that picture. But we've all been to see films and be like, well, why did they do that? Why didn't they do that like that? And that's where the producer comes in, because it's like, how do you feel about this picture? Well, I don't know about that, but let's try that. Or I don't understand this scene. Let's change the scene a little bit. So
definitely,
yeah, that's one thing I do like about collaboration stuff is if, you know, what, like, because we get our, what do you call them on? We get very narrow, like tunnel vision sometimes with what we're doing, and sometimes we just need people to just blow that tunnel up, basically. But
Definitely.
there's another nice easy question, then I'm gonna get into the other ones. I feel we warmed up now. If you had to choose one living and one deceased artist to work with, who would it be and why?
Nipsey Hussle
Mm,
for deceased.
yeah.
Dang, wait, hold on. I don't know. It's oh man.
We could
See,
put it
this
on
is
the
what I'm
back
saying.
burner
Like
and come back to it later if you like.
it's like I want to say Nipsey Hussle 100%, but then there's Big Pun, Pop Smoke, DMX. I feel like if I did a song with DMX, that would have been retarded. Like if me and DMX did a song together, there would have been a whole bunch of dogs barking, growls, and chills in the whole song.
You should message Swiss and just be like, look, I've got something. Like, what you got in the vault?
I got so it's crazy. Me and Handsome, the same my boy Handsome, we did a song for there's a soundtrack that's coming out for the last DMX movie. I'm not supposed to really say too much about this, but it's called The Last Growl.
Yeah.
We have a song on there, legit, that we did for DMX.
Damn.
So that song is crazy, and we go back and forth too. So it's not even like you're gonna hear just like, oh, Nitty verse and Handsome. Nah, we go back and forth the whole song.
Like
So
a
it's
Red Man and
crazy.
Method Man type of thing.
The entire song. So I want to say Nipsey Hussle, but those other, you know what I'm saying, other people are in there too. But let's just go with Nipsey Hussle. And only because I feel like he could have gave me more game than I got from his music in person. And then Living, are we doing like the Hove stuff or no like crazy legends like Hove and stuff? Because if
just if you want to break it into two, you can, but we usually just go by one. But I'll let you break it into two if you want.
We can break it into two then. I mean,
right.
Joe Budden's not active, so we're not going to use him. But I would have definitely loved to work with Joe Budden for sure. Either Jay-Z or J. Cole, or maybe even Kanye, to be honest, because I feel like when he dropped his first Christian project, I had dropped my first Christian project that same year called The Book of Frank, and I feel like people saying, "Oh, that project was so great" on Kanye's part, but for me, it was like, I don't know. I feel like you could have had more. If you were going to do a Christian project, have more Christian artists involved, not just the big rap artists like 21 Savage and the Clips and all like involved. If you're going to do that and try to dabble in that,
you're going to go to the market.
Artists.
Go to the market.
Yeah. So I feel like it was more for show, and then it's like, all right, you got people tapping into Christianity now. And then the project you dropped right after that, like that one, I don't know if you're listening to the project, there's no curses. He even blocked out even the feature curses.
Yeah.
The next project after that, you back the cursing crazy. So what were you really doing it for the money, or did you really believe that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just felt on the fence about it, but I would say either Jay-Z or J. Cole. Because Jay-Z, I'm sure he'd give me so much game. Like I don't know if you've seen that post where he's telling everybody, "Oh, take the money instead of the interview." But I would love to have dinner with Jay-Z because it's different when you work on your mindset or when you're doing personal development, reading a book or going to a seminar, and when you sit with somebody. I've sat with billionaires. I sat with somebody that was making $500,000 a month and had just a conversation, and things that he told me. It was common sense, but that wasn't the part of the brain that I was tapped into. So when he told it to me, it was like, wow. And it wasn't even a wow thing to say. It was just like, I wasn't thinking of that because I'm not making $500,000 a month. So I'm complicating something that he just made an ABC for me.
Yeah.
And then J. Cole, I would just love to like go bar for bar on a song with J. Cole. Like that would be crazy.
Yeah. Hey, if you can get, and also if you can get in on one of those Dreamville sessions, that'd be mate.
I would love that.
Love those videos when he drops those videos before his albums, and you see everyone in there, and like they've literally got what, like it's either 4 days or just under a week, and they're all like, you know, we've got produce. Say they've got 8 rooms. They've got a producer in each room, and then all these artists, and they're just like, oh yeah, right there, and it's like, oh, but I'm missing out. Like, where do I go? Because they're all just trying to get on. Well, they're trying to get on, and I'm just like, oh man, that looks so fun. Like that just looks so fun.
I've done 2 or 3 sessions like that in Brooklyn, where we do a 12-hour block. We'll get like 4 or 5 different rooms and have a different producer in each room, and they'd be like, and you know, that's how I met Cortez.
Yeah.
I met him at one of those sessions. I walked into the room and he was in there, and I was like, nah, that's crazy. And then it's crazy because that same room that I walked into, I felt like I was compelled, even if I didn't like the beat that was on, I had to put a verse on this just in case he put a verse on it. So I think that day I walked into 4 out of the 5 rooms, and one of the rooms I did 2 verses back to back. Then I was like, let me check another room. I don't want to just be biased to one producer. Yeah. I walked into the other 3 rooms and laid one verse on each, and then one of them was just a hook, and I walked out. So I laid like 6 verses and 1 hook, and I wasn't there for the whole 12 hours either. I came late. I was probably there for like 3 hours. So in 3 hours, I did 6 verses and 1 hook.
Damn. God, I don't even know how to computer.
The crazier part about that is only one of those songs came out.
Oh wow!
So there's verses and stuff that y'all not gonna hear, and then when y'all hear it, y'all gonna be like, "Yo, this is fire." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did that 3 years ago. I did that 2 years ago."
Yeah, well, it's like Timbaland said, isn't it? You know, I think he said it about the Genuine beat. Like the right, like the My Pony one, was it right or whatever it's called? I think didn't he say he sat on that for like 10 years or something before he released that? Yeah,
that's funny. There's a song I did the other day, maybe 2 weeks ago, that 2 of my boys. He was like, "Yo, I know you're working on a project. Let me send you a few songs, and you pick one. You can take one for your project, and then you got to give me a verse for another one." I'm like, "All right, cool." He sends me 15 songs. The first song I hear, it's him and my other boy. I'm like, "Yo, this is the verse you can keep. I'm gonna do this verse right now." He's like, "That's crazy. I did that song 10 years ago." I'm like, "What? You held this for 10 years, bro?" I sent the verse back the same night, and then the one I kept, I still haven't done anything to it, which is crazy. But that song is, I let everybody hear, they're like, "This is 10 years old." I'm like, "Listen, my verse is fresh. There was only a hook on this, and then he put his verse, and I was surprised that he put me first." I was like, "Okay." And that song is dope. It's one for the ladies, and I don't really do a lot of women music, but more lately I've been tapped into making more songs for women, because women are the ones that buy. Everybody, like men, they just stream or download, or they don't really buy. Women purchase songs, they purchase merch, they purchase tickets to your show. A lot of male don't do that.
It's interesting. Whereas I don't know, I wouldn't have necessarily put it the other way around, but I mean, from what well, to be honest, you're the first person that said that. Most people I've spoken to, not on these, but like off, like off in doing what I'm doing. Like a lot of people will just stream it. It's not always usually, yeah. Like they'll just stream it. Won't really necessarily purchase anything. So it's interesting that you say it. But then thinking about
Remember, you get more money off a purchase than a stream.
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely.
A million streams is basically like nothing anymore. So a million streams is probably like $600, $700 for a million.
Yeah, it's something silly like that, isn't it? Like I think it's not even
as if you have one song for $2 and 500,000 people buy that song. That's $1 million.
I don't know what it is on iTunes, but like the Bandcamp, when they do Bandcamp Fridays, and they like, you go and spend £10, like £10 on the album, you'll pretty much get that £10 on that day. So
yeah, they're not. It's not too much. I think iTunes takes a lot of percentage. The one that you get paid out for the most is Tidal. Shout out to Jay-Z.
yeah.
It's 1 million streams. I think it's like $17,000. But now you got to think about it. How many people pay for Tidal? Because you got to pay monthly. That's the big difference. That's why he took most of his music off of and put it to Tidal.
Spotify, you can get a free account, but you have to put up with the adverts.
And even that, Spotify don't pay out that much.
Well, look at their new thing. They're not going to pay for anyone that's under 1,000. So one song gets 1,000 plays. They'll pay only for that song. So if you put out an album, I think you basically have to get, from the way I understand it, I could be wrong, but from the way I understand it, is you have to get like you say you put out an album, you have to get 1,000 plays on each, I think, to be paid,
something like that,
to be paid for it. But then, so if you put out and then that refreshes at the start of every year. So then when January 1st comes around, you have to build up that same song with 1,000 more plays. So every year you have to keep trying to get 1,000 plays in order to try and get the minimum amount of money.
I don't know. Somebody owes me a check because Big Stepper's got a lot, probably like 50,000, something like that. It's a crazy number. I was like, that's nuts. I didn't think it would get that far, but I ain't get paid for that.
It's probably music somewhat, depending on where you put it. Like, I don't know who you distribute with, but there's probably some money there. And then whoever you've got on your back end.
Yeah, I think I got out of all of those songs that I got my discography is crazy. I got like 158 songs or something like that. Yeah. But I think out of everybody taking their PC, I probably made like $900 from all of that. So I spent more than and that's what artists don't understand. Everybody wants everything for free. It's like, no, bro. Just the way you want to get paid, you got to pay the producers, you got to pay the engineers, you got to pay the people that shoot the video, you got to pay. Everybody wants everything for free. It don't work that way. And that's how you make relationships that last, that are strong. You have all these artists that walk into a room and say, yo, you should send me this beat. I know this person and this and that and this. And I'm like, that means nothing. I know Capone from CNN personally. I've had dinner at his house, barbecues at his house. Like, that don't mean that I'm going to get the same numbers as somebody that's with Capone and Noriega. Like, that's nothing to do with anything. Like, I can call him right now on FaceTime and he'll pick up the phone. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get 1 million views or 1 million plays. Like, people just have to get that understanding out of their head. We all know somebody, or we all know somebody that knows somebody. But that don't mean anything in this industry. It's a business at the end of the day.
I think the only time you'd probably get an exception to that would be if it was kind of like a mentor type of thing. If, again, I don't know, I know you know him because you said about it in other interviews, but I don't know your relationship with him. But if Capone was to, like mentor you, and he'd be like, or even a producer or something, they'd be like, yeah, I like the way that you do things. I'll give you this one, and then we'll try and claim it back later. Because if someone feels someone's got something, they'll be like, okay, like I'll risk it. You know what I mean? So I think
no, definitely.
I think that's.
But people walk into buildings
entitlement. Yeah.
Like, bro, I remember I walked into one of those studios, that studio session with we had the 5 rooms. There was a young artist, I think he was like 17. He was like, oh, you guys should just give me these songs that I'm on because I'm going to get more plays and more streams than you guys. So I'm like, what's your artist name? So the whole time he's doing whatever he's doing, I'm looking through his discography. I'm like, bro, the most song you have plays on is like 700. Like, who you getting more plays than in here? You are nuts, out of your mind, kid. Like, sit down. The song that I have with Capone that I dropped, we have 2 songs. We only dropped 1 so far. It was on my project. It's called Chill. I went to his house one day, and he has a studio in his crib. I went to his house, and he was like, yo, you working on anything? And when I went there, he was working on a project with Dave East was there, Young Chris was there from the Young Guns. They left. They did their songs or whatever. They left. He's like, "You working on anything?" I'm like, "I got a lot of songs. I'm about to drop a mixtape, so I got a lot of songs I'm working on." I put up that first one called "Chill." He's like, "This is the one." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm about to do a verse right now." I'm like, "I'm with it."
Shit.
He walked
Okay.
into the booth. He came out of the booth like to record him. I'm like, "Yo, bro, I know how to record." So I recorded his verse on that song, which is crazy.
Mm.
And he did this. He did it in 20 minutes without writing anything. I promise you that 20 minutes flat. He walked in, said a couple stuff, came out, press stop, press record. I'm like, I can record you. You know that, right? He's like, all right, bet. 20 minutes, the song was done. And then he was like, you got anything else? I called one of the producers I know. I'm like, I'm in the studio with Capone right now. Send me a beat. He sent the beat. We did that song. He did that verse in like 20 minutes. He's like, if you don't have anything, just take my verse, go home, right? I'm like, I got a chorus and a verse right now, and we recorded that whole song on the spot too. It's called Diamonds. That one didn't come out yet.
Damn.
It's when those opportunities for me, I learned that via Tyrone Briggs. Like when those opportunities present themselves, either you strike while you there, or it's a lost cause, pretty
Yeah.
much. Because you never get opportunities like that where you're in a room with a legend that's like, yo, you got something you working on? Put it on.
Yeah. It's like you say, if it's there, and you know you got the opportunity, fucking, and you realize it's an opportunity, then you got to grab it. Otherwise, it's kind of like you'll. Otherwise, it'll kind of be like, oh crap, should have done that.
Yep.
Should have done that. And it's like, yo, can we do it? Nah, it's got. Oh, fuck, it's gone. You know what I mean? It's gone. All right, so gotta switch it up a little bit. Gotta switch it up a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I kind of some of the more juicier answers that you gave on the ice highlights kind of yeah kind of got me intrigued. So I kind of want to take this. But again, you know, if you don't, you feel it might. I feel they're kind of all right, but I just want to say, you know, if you don't feel like it, you can just
I'm
pass.
answering everything. This is
I,
one
well,
of
I,
those.
yeah, I just you know I like to say
Anytime
it
I do
because
an interview, I tell the interviewer, we didn't get a chance to speak on it before, but I tell the interview, ask me whatever you want, even if you feel like it might cause some controversy. Those are the questions that I love answering because people are scared to ask those questions.
well, it's not so much of controversy. It's you know sort of what you know you said in the again like from the ice highlights the or no sorry the get to knows on the website and you know you were saying like about the mental health stuff and you know not necessarily being able to talk with people and you know I know that you're a pretty like well developed guy mentally so I know you're okay but I you know sometimes it's kind of like oh like do you know what I mean it's kind of like should I
Yeah,
ask it should I not it's yeah
ask
but
it.
I just thought I'd put that out there right so you spoke about how music has been a channel for you to express your feelings when you felt isolated and couldn't talk to anyone. But then, how did you feel to put those? How did it finally feel trying to write that first song to sum up what you were feeling?
It's crazy because the first song that I like I've done like
Mm.
whatever bullcrap songs before that, just like rap with my friends and stuff. But the first song I actually put down where I put my feelings behind the song was a song I wrote to my mother. I had let her hear it and she just broke down and started crying because it was what I was going through at that time. A lot of stuff that was happening in the house and whatnot, abuse mentally, physically. So when I let her hear it, she started crying and she was like, listen, you have a way with words. You should continue to pursue this. That made me feel good. And then from there, I just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, you just answered the other question I was going to ask you as well, but because like I knew it was that um I knew that was kind of going to be the answer because I remember you saying that in you know in the interview you did with V Henny on the artistry as well. Shout out to V Henny and the artistry; they're fucking dope, by the way.
She's a
Yeah,
vibe.
and again, a pretty good interviewer, pretty good interviewer.
Oh, she's amazing.
I won't lie. I know this is a bit of a sidetrack, but I actually do kind of admire the way that she interviews. So yeah, but yeah, I know that's a bit of a sidetrack, but I had to get that in there. But yeah, so you said as well it was your friends that kind of got you mostly into writing? Was it just because they rapped and it was, the way that they could do their words, or what was it
Yeah.
about?
So
Yeah.
when I first started, this is how a long time ago it was. When I first started making music, my friends would come over and I would record them on a desktop with the microphone from the computer.
Hmm.
And then when we would go to other people's houses, we would use a tape. You put tissue inside the piece and you re-record over whatever was on the tape already. That's how long ago this was. But I would change instrumentals. And back then it was like LimeWire and FrostWire and all those
Oh yeah,
Napster,
yeah. The disease of the
all the
computers.
stuff that gave your computer your computer got messed up after that. So I
Yeah.
had like maybe 100 instrumentals
Mm.
of random songs. And though there was three people, they would come to my house almost every day and they would rap 10 minutes. I would change the beat, they would keep going, change the flow, change the melody, change what they were talking about. Literally for 10 minutes each. And I'm like, damn. And they're just doing this off the top of their head. They're not even writing nothing, just they're going. So I was like, yeah, nah, this I gotta tap into this. I could do this too. And then I remember the first time they were doing it, they were like, you still not gonna jump in? I'm like, oh, I'm jumping in this one. And when I did it, nah, you could do this, bro. And I'm like, oh, all right, let's do it.
Nice. Yeah, Scott. I read it and I was like, oh, I bet that was fun.
Yeah,
Bet that was fun going from there. Like,
it
so
was.
what sort of so before you got into hip hop, what kind of like music did you sort of like listen to them? I don't know. I guess you could say like was the early inspirations before rap.
Well, growing up, my dad and my mom listened to a lot of Spanish music. So Spanish music, and my mom used just listen to a lot of uh like pop and like rock, like a Bon Jovi type stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I used to listen to a lot of that stuff, but hip hop started for me was before I used to rap. A lot of people don't know I used to dance, like for real dance. So I went to a house party one time back when like Getting Light was in, and like chicken noodle soup and all that stuff. And I
Yeah.
had messed my knee up at a house party. And after that, I was like, damn, I can't really dance the way I used to dance. So how can I stay into the music? And that's when I started to write rhymes and get into that stuff. So even when we go out now and I'll bust a move, people be like, you know how to dance? I'm like, yeah, of course.
Mm, nice.
But yeah, like I like, I got, even now I want to go way too much the project that I'm about to drop. It's like a Linkin Park Gym Heroes vibe
Linkin Park and Jim
that
Heroes.
people are not going to expect at all.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big Linkin Park fan, mate. Big Linkin Park.
Nice. Me
Yeah, man. When when that album like Hybrid Theory came out in
a long time ago.
1997, I think it was. Because I was like, oh man, I was literally just going into my last year of high school. Like, so that's kind of how I remember that. And then shortly up, no, not my last year. I think I just started high school. Fucking hell. Oh dear. All right, I'll get rid of that. I'll scrub that bit out later. That shows how old I am. God damn. Because like I said, I left in like 2003 because I went to college, and that's when In the Club came out. And then and I remember now because that's when they released Meteora, because that's
hmm
when Numb was massive then. That's why that's how I remember that. But yeah. Anyway, going back to the other question. So music being um a massive part for you to tell your story, and as you say, you were inspired by Joe Budden to be able to get all that stuff out. And with music, like music being a massive sort of driving force, like have you ever sort of got feedback from fans about how your music has affected them?
That so I was gonna actually stop making music before I dropped my last project. I think it was.
What was that?
That
I
was
am
that was
Frank.
that was yeah. I think as I'm just being frank. That was gonna be my last project. I didn't want to make music anymore. I felt like I was being overlooked and everybody was just clinging to who they usually cling to on Staten Island, which is all the time. People do that clout stuff. I'm not big on clout. I don't care about none of that. If you can't rap, you can't rap. I'm gonna tell you straight up, you can't rap. So a lot of people just gaslight their friends and stuff just because they're their friends. If my friends suck at doing something, I'm gonna tell you, you suck at doing this. Do this. You're good at doing this. So for me, it was like that was gonna be my last project. And then I had put that up on social media. This is my last project. Da 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 da. And the amount of feedback I got was ridiculous from women, men. It was ridiculous. People were like, "Ah, you can't give this up. Like, I understand if you don't want to do it anymore, but don't let people not gravitate towards what I gravitate is. You're helping a lot of people." And I'm like, okay. And then you got people, yo, this song helped me get through this rough time that I was going through. This song helped me get through. I was getting physically abused and mentally abused, and this song helped me to go pursue my passion. And I'm like, wow, I never thought me speaking about stuff. Any song you hear from me, everything is valid. It's not. I don't do that whole capping stuff. I'm never gonna speak about it if it's not true. So you're never gonna hear me say, "Yeah, I got $1 million in the bank," if I don't got $1 million in the bank. So me telling my truth and all these people helping them, it was like I was just speaking my truth. And if that helps you, listen, that helped me remember why I fell in love with hip hop. It was a it was me. It was me being selfless, like, all right, I need somebody to vent to, and I can't vent to anybody, so let me just put it out there, and whoever gravitates towards that gravitates towards it. And the amount of feedback I got back, it made me, I'm not gonna lie, it made me cry. I was like reading some of these messages where it was like they were super heartfelt, and I was like, wow. And you have artists writing me like, nah, you can't quit. This song helped me get through this, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that I got to work with you before you hang it up. And I'm like, that touched me in a different way. Pause. It was just like, that's different. Like how you can help so many people unknowingly.
Yeah.
So that really, and that's the only reason, as you can see, since that project, I've been consistent, whether it's I'm dropping singles, music videos, features, projects, whatever it is, I'm outside.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. You know, like what you know, you telling your story, and probably at the time, probably you know, feeling probably lonely. You know what I mean? Like telling your story, as you say, trying to vent. And then next minute, you know, there's another soul out there that feels lonely and has discovered it, and it's just like, oh shit, I'm not the only one, sort of thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
There's,
so
there's been
maybe
there's been times in the studio where I'm recording the song and I'll just stop, break down in the booth, have a mental breakdown, start crying, and the engineer's like, "Yo, you all right? Just give me a minute. Like, I just need a minute." And then I'll pick it back up and like, let's continue the song. And those are the songs that people like. There's a song I did called Purpose. That song at that point in my life when I did Purpose, uh, my aunt just passed away. My favorite aunt, like she was my closest aunt, she passed away.
yeah,
I was on probation. I couldn't be to jail for 3 years. Uh, I lost my car and I almost lost my residence. So it's like I'm going through all of that in one shot in this booth.
mm, oh,
And, and whoever was there in the studio, it was like really going to I'm doing it. And I'll just hear songs like Purpose, songs like Dad Life, songs like um Fed Up, songs like Massacre. Like when you listen to the lyrics, it's
mm,
different than when you're just listening to a vibe.
yeah. So just oh,
And I like to make my music to where like it feels like a vibe, but I really like songs like for me personal songs. It's like, I want you to hear the words and the song might be you might be able to dance to it, clap to it, have a good time, but I want you to hear what I'm saying.
Mm.
Because what I'm saying, if you're going through something, the message all the time is, yeah, I went through this, but look where I'm at now. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel if you keep going. If you quit, you'll never know what that looks like because you never got there.
All right, you did kind of cut out there, um, cut out a couple of times. I think we got the gist of it, but um, the first bit was I think you were in the booth doing purpose, and you were saying you just lost your nan. You were on
I
probation for
lost
something.
I lost my aunt.
Auntie,
I
yeah.
just lost my aunt. I lost my car. I was on probation. I couldn't smoke or drink for 8 months.
Mm.
Uh, at that point when I did purpose, everything was 100 days sober. I think I said it in the first verse. 100 days being clean. I don't need no plaque. Uh, lost my car. Almost lost my residence. So I'm going through all of this, and I broke down, and there was like 4 or 5 other people there besides the engineer. They're like, "Yo, you all right?" And I'm like, "Yo, y'all just hearing music. I'm going through this right now. Like, this is my life. It's not just what you're hearing. I'm literally going through this right now." So for me, it was different. Then they started to cry. It's like, damn, bro, you need help. I'm like, listen, I'm not doing this for pity. I'm doing this for the people that are gonna hear this after I drop it. People feel like I feel like a lot of the people that just like fans or people that listen to your music.
Oh, oh shit. All right, so you were talking about the effect that your music had on others, and and we lost you just a minute ago with the like the freezing up and everything, and you were talking about like losing losing your aunt, or lost your aunt, losing your car, uh, just on probation, 100 days clean, um, and you were talking about sort of being in the booth, and recording purpose is
Yeah, I
where
got
we
you.
were.
So yeah, there was like 5 other people in the studio with me, and then I needed a minute. Obviously, while I'm writing all this, I broke down. I needed a minute, and then it was crazy because in the interim of them asking me, and then me going back and finishing the song, and then coming back out and seeing that they were crying, I was like, wow, like what's going on here? I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. So it's like you never know who really can feel what you're saying. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna feel you, and the right people are gonna find you.
I agree. I agree. Had similar situations. Like, I think the more sort of, I mean, they've all been impactful. Don't get me wrong, but the one that was really impactful was like when I'd first started doing this, um, like during lockdown, and I was, oh no, no one's watching. What I've just getting caught up in things, and then I sort of said to my teacher slash like mentor who was helping me because I needed to do this for my second year stuff, and he was just like, I'd set the goal. I was like, look, just hold me accountable for 10. After 10, it doesn't matter what happens. So he held me accountable, and I think we got to about 6, I think it was. And this was like more, not the live streams that I do now, but this was more the like, so I do the live streams, and then if there were songs I'd I'd want to go deeper into it, kind of find like explain myself, because when I do the lives, I feel on the spot. Whereas if you can listen to something, you can explain it a bit more. And we were doing that, and I'd done one, and it was a guy talking about, you know, had an addiction with pills and stuff like that, and you know, and I'd listened to it, I'd given my thoughts and whatever, and I didn't expect it. I didn't expect anything. I was just like, you know, it's there, on to the next one, sort of thing. And then just as I'm about to quit on, say, like the 7th or 8th, he messaged me and was just like, "Hi, I'm the guy that sung this song. Do you realize what you said on that podcast saved my life?" I was like, "Fuck off," you know. Like, I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Yeah," and he was, you know, he said, are you free?" I was like, "Okay," like, "Okay, yeah, I'm free." Called me up and explained the situation. He was just like, "Yeah, he was listening to the podcast on his way to kill himself."
That's crazy.
Exactly. I was, mate, like, to be honest, I'm feeling like I might cry now, but I was just like, mate, like, I cried. I don't care. Like, I was like, what? He was just like, yeah, I was on my way. He was like, I knew where I was gonna do it. I knew what I was gonna do. He was gonna jump. I was like, you know, what do you say when someone tells you that? Do you know what I mean? Shit's nuts.
That's a life check right there. That was your life check. Yo, keep going.
Yeah, and you know, that was that was like probably about 4 months in. Like, yeah, and I was just like, oh, you know, like, and there's, you know, I know it was early days. I'm just, oh, I don't know about this, you know, like, I'm new to all this. I don't normally like to show my face and things like that. And yeah, and he was just like, yo, what you said saved my life. And you know, there's been a couple of other situations like that, and it's just like, I don't know, it's a weirdly profound feeling, knowing that, as you said earlier, knowing that in an unknowing way you were
Help
you
somebody.
went, yeah. And the weird thing is, this guy lived in Texas. I'm a guy from England, like just outside of London. Do you know what I mean? And I've helped someone over in Texas. I think that blew my mind the most. You know, a guy I've never met, guy I probably would have never met, and you know, all of a sudden I had this impact on a life that I didn't even know of.
Listen, everything is worldwide. That's what I'm saying. Social media is a gift and a curse because you meet people worldwide and you can impact somebody's life and don't even have to specifically talk to that person.
Yeah. I mean, it was about his song, so I was kind of speaking to him, but I was just giving more of my own thoughts because, you know, I was like, I just had a like mental breakdown and stuff, and you know, so I was still kind of coping with that, going into lockdown, blah blah blah, and so I was kind of speaking on that, but also just speaking my own little story. And yeah, he was just like, "Yo, I'm from Texas." I was like, "Oh shit," you know, like I can't. I'm struggling to find people on my own doorstep, and I'm out here like, it's
Shout
nuts.
outs to him. I'm pretty sure he's out here making some killings right now on these songs.
It was it was incredible, man. It was incredible, and like there's, you know, there's been other little things that we've helped, like that I've helped with, but yeah, it's profound to, you know that. I mean, a lot of people don't necessarily tell you. So I mean, some will tell you when, you know, when they want to, but you don't always know. You don't always know, and like, you know, like who's listening to your music, and you know, who's watching from the back, but keeping an eye on your progress. And yeah, man, it's like it's just
That's why I laughed that day that I checked. I laughed that day that I checked in with you, and you're like, I didn't expect you to be on here. I'm like, yo, if I got time, I'm jumping in. You know the vibe.
oh yeah, mate. A couple of times you jumped in, like, I'm like, oh, hello. Like,
If I listen, I'm all about the same way other people help me. If I can help somebody else with something that they need help with, why wouldn't I?
mm,
Life is more about giving than receiving, and people forget to realize that they always want to receive, 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 but you got to give. You get what you. What was the quote? You get what you are, not what you want.
Get what you are, not what. Get what.
You get what you are, not what you
are.
want. Meaning, if you're a giver, you're gonna have people give to you freely without you having to ask for it. But if you're a person that, let's just say, a person that finds toxic relationships, if you keep getting the same person in a different body, means you need something that you got to fix and grow within yourself because you keep attracting that. So you get what you are, not what you want.
Yeah. It's like, the sort of like provide, like, what can you provide? You know, are you providing value and stuff like that? Like, the more sort of value and stuff you can give others, and just can't, as you say, can't die. Then that comes around to you. You know, like you're paying it for, like you pay it forward, basically, don't you? You just you're out there. You don't necessarily expect something from it, and then a little while later that will come around. That will come around to you. And the more people you can help, and then some people get addicted to it because it is an addictive thing. Like helping others, it's that was it the serotonin release you get from from seeing others achieve. And I get like, so yeah, there's a thing in that. But yeah, it's an extreme feeling to know that,
Listen, that feeling that you had with that guy from Texas, listen, that's different.
I don't know if it's different. I mean,
I'm saying that's something that at the end of the day you got to be like, wow, I really saved somebody's life.
Oh yeah, mate. I
in a whole different country.
Yeah, mate. I cried. Like I said, I cried. Like he called me up. I cried on the phone, like FaceTime. Went downstairs, like, and was just like, "Yo, look, I've just been told I've saved someone's life." Had a little cry down there. Went to therapy and had a little cry. I was like, mate, I think like I think it took me like a full week to kind of comprehend what had happened.
So that makes you a hero. You know that, right? It makes you a hero. I'm just saying, wear that badge.
I'll get my cape. I'll get my cape.
There you go.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I'm like, probably. I mean, again, I don't know how you've impacted people, but you must have had, like, you've probably had some crazy like reactions to your music, because you're telling people like your truths and stuff. So it's probably some there as well that you've impacted.
No, 100%. I mean, I haven't had anybody say that I saved their life per se, but I definitely had people that they said that they felt like that was it. Like they had nothing, that there was nothing more after this. And the music gave them an outlet to where it's like, maybe if I keep pushing and keep going, I'll find what I'm looking for. And that's all you could do. Once you decide that's it, it's done, you already made the mental decision. Everything is mental first before it comes out into the public. So once you decide you're done, it's done. That's it. But if you decide that, all right, maybe I want to keep going, maybe I want to give another shot, that's your body and your brain telling you, yo, there's so much more left for you to do. There's so many more people for you to speak to, listen to, hear you. There's always somebody looking for you that you don't even know that they need you. In better words, they need you. It's not even a want, or that guy from Texas needed you. He needed you. What if you didn't do that live? Or what if you didn't have that moment where you went over his song? He wouldn't be here right now. So he needed you. Like he needed you like he needs oxygen to breathe.
Yeah.
There's people out there that still need you. There's still people that need to hear your voice is doing something for them. Their lives are doing something. You sharing the music is doing for something for them. So there's always somebody that needs us that we don't even know. We always think like friends or somebody in your circle or immediate family. There's somebody that doesn't even know you that needs you right now.
Yeah.
And that's strong enough for you to keep going.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's kept me going near 3.5 years. 4 years in March.
And still a million more to go. And I still think we need a For the Lack of God mixtape.
Say that again.
We need a For the Lack of God mixtape.
Mate,
All the artists that you personally like. Yo, listen, I got this beat. I'm gonna send it to you. Send something back.
I'm not gonna lie. I've tried that. I've reached out to a few people, and they were just, I'm not interested. Like, it's most of the ones I do like. Most have just told me no, and most have just not bothered. Like, I sent them off, and I didn't hear back. You know, I'd send a couple chase emails like, "Are you good?" You know, because I know, you know, I know collaboration is a thing. Like, it takes a while. I know that. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you didn't get this back in 2 days." You know what? Fuck you. Like, you're a dick. Like, I know, you know, sometimes a collaboration could take a couple months, might even take a year, maybe more. But I was just like, look, you know, I'm not here to push you. You know, just do you want to do it? If so, let me know. Or, you know, just give me a heads up what's going on, just so, you know, I can kind of work around that. But yeah, nothing. I was just, oh, do you know what, fuck it. Like, do you know what, fuck it. So yeah, because like someone put it in the live, like someone was coming in calling me like Wayne Khaled, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that, mate. Like, don't know. I don't know if I really see myself as a DJ Khaled. I mean, you know, I'd like to give it a go, get some people, and do a project. Yeah, man, I'd love to do it. Love to do it.
You got me, and I listen. I got enough pull to pull a few artists with me. So just you let me know, and we can work something out.
Well, all right. This will kind of go into another question that I wanted to ask you, but so I'll just gonna skip this bit real quick. But yeah, that and like one other thing, like, I don't know. I want to do it, but I don't know how I'll do it. So this is something for me, but I'll put it out there and see what you think. So are you familiar with Fire in the Booth?
Yeah, of course. Hell yeah.
All right, I'm just checking. Some people don't know it. So yeah, like that's something that I'd like to do. Like, I don't know, I don't quite know how I do it at the moment, but it is something I'd like to do. I'm toying with like maybe reels, like, you know,
You could start it on Reels. I would say start it on Reels, but you need a like a studio space set up and just a fire background, however you want to set that, however it looks like to you in your head, a nice setup where whatever artist comes, they can pull up, go crazy, and then
because one of the people that inspired it is, if you're from what's his name, Kato on the Track. Like, yeah, he does a lot of them. Puts his stuff up, and then he's just like, yo, who's got something for this? And then, yo, and we're just like, God damn, some of them are nice. Like, God damn. Yeah, that's something. So yeah, the Lag of God mixtape, something like a Fire in the Booth thing. And yeah, and possibly bringing back like competitions as well, because me and Staten used to do we did like New York versus everybody.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll tell you what, he was cheeky with his tracks. He broke the rules, but you know, I'll let him off. Yeah, and like, oh man, he sent in this one track. I won't lie, but he got me a lot of clout at university. Like, my social standing went from there to there. And yeah, he sent in this track with QB Rap P, and Havoc from Mob Deep. And then he sent in another one with Papoose. And the next day I went in, I felt like a king. Like everyone was like, "Yo, you got Papoose on your track, man! Like, you're the sick." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I did."
You see what I'm saying?
But yeah, and like they were just, "How'd you do it?" I was like, "Man, I'll just ask the guy." Do you know what I mean? I just asked the guy at Ascension Tracks from from New York artists. Um, and the premise of that, all right, this feels like a bit of a tangent, but the premise was that was like because the idea of the channel is to get people from all genres come together to make music. So it was like, right, we got eight eight producers. No, so I got like four producers, and then we had four artists, and then it muddled it. They didn't know each other, and they were just told, "Go away, make a track, and we'll compete." And whoever competes gets the bragging rights. I think the guy who won the one with Havoc, he got not that jersey, but he got a similar sort of jersey. And then we did another one, and they got a jersey as well. So yeah, that's something I'd like to bring back. But again, it's trying to find the. I have the same sort of problem I do with the mixtape idea.
It's
It's
only it's only a problem because you keep calling it a problem. I'm telling you, those words
yeah,
are spells. That's why they call it spelling.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when you put those things, all right, so we all obviously everybody has negative thoughts.
yeah,
They don't manifest until you breathe them life. So when you take those negative thoughts and say, whatever the negative problem is, you so focus on the problem that you're not focused on a solution. You can't focus on both at the same time. So if you start thinking of solutions, is it really a problem? No.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. But yeah. So yeah, okay. So on to the next one. So you said, and again, this kind of ties with the mixtape idea that you were saying about. So earlier you said about your next album kind of having like a Gym Class Heroes, Linkin Park type of vibe.
Or only one song. There's one.
Oh,
So the project that I'm gonna put is called the last one was Just Being Frank. Uh, this one's gonna be called Let Me Be Frank, and it's gonna be like just let me be me. So it's gonna be me going through different stages in life, different genres. I got a new song that I'm doing my Drake thing on, singing and all that good stuff. So there's a whole bunch of different kind of songs that people are gonna be like, "What's going on?" Like there's so much going on here.
yeah.
I don't know where to start. But the way that I always set my projects up, if I do a project, is meant to be listened from one down. Never like start. Oh, I see he got the Fabulous on this song. Let me listen to this one first. No, go from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first one down. That's why I think this project. I don't think I'm gonna put the features names on. It's just gonna be the names of the songs, so nobody knows who's on what. So they listen to every single song straight through.
yeah, yeah. Like every album's a story, as we were talking about with the
Definitely.
being in the studio thing.
I'm not even on the intro. The intro is my homegirl. She does like spoken word poetry, but she went crazy. Like when I
Nice.
tell you she went crazy, I was recording her and I'm like, what? After every punchline, I was like, we gotta stop. What? Like,
You weren't
that's crazy.
recording. You were just punching it in. Mm.
So even the intro is not gonna be me.
Oh, so
So
the intro's kind of like like the Lupe Fiasco intros. Like was it Food and Liquor and Food and
mhm.
Liquor 2, where he has the spoken words.
But I'm gonna put a build up beat behind it because after she says, I don't want to give away too much, but she goes through a whole bunch of stuff, and then the last thing she says is, "I'm gonna be frank like Nitti," and then I'm gonna say chill, and then it's gonna drop right into the first song. Oh yeah, and the first song is crazy. This first song is people are gonna be like, "What?" They might not even make it to the third track because they might go back to the beginning of the second one just to hear it like track over again.
Mm,
That's the kind of song I'm talking about.
nice. Nice. So yeah, so with that, I got and then as we said, tying in with the mixtape thing is I did like this mini. well, I haven't got it as a mini album. They're just instrumentals at the moment. But there's sort of like these. It's kind of like rock, dubstep, and hip hop, sort of like infused together. And yeah, that's like, I think there's like 5 tracks. Yeah, I'd quite like to. I'd like to hear some people on. Might be
Listen,
sunny.
I got the bodies to fill the tracks. I know so many. So like I said, I've been doing music for 23 years this year.
Yeah.
I know so many artists, producers, engineers, singers, spoken word, anything that you ever need to do with an artist. If you can't find somebody, hit me up. I can point them in the right direction.
All right. Well, I'll yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after as well, and we'll go from there. But yeah, like you answered the other question as well. I was gonna say, tell us about your latest project and the inspiration behind it. But you.
Oh, that's just my project. I have so we did the I Am Familiar project.
Oh
But
yeah.
now
Is that
me and
the last one? That was a good album. I enjoyed that.
yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I'm gonna drop my album first or me and Bree have a project together too. Just us two on every song. It's called The Phoenix and the Dragon. So that one is about like 5 to 7 songs. We already have 6-ish done. But nobody's gonna, because everybody always likes when she sings. Nobody remembers that she raps too. So it's gonna be a good one.
Is the Phoenix and the Dragon also kind of like when what's his name? Oh, Q-Tip and Busta Rhymes did their joint album as well, because that was like that was Something and the Dragon, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was called. Well, no, it was Something and the Dragon.
For me, I was born the year of the dragon, and I call her the Phoenix. So we're gonna call it the Becoming, the Phoenix and the Dragon, and the cover art's gonna be half my face, half her face, but my face has dragon features and hers has Phoenix features.
Man, that sounds pretty sick, actually. That sounds pretty sick. Like you get the dragon and that, and then she's got the Phoenix with like the flat. Oh yeah,
The wings coming out with the fire behind her.
Yeah, that sounds nice. That sounds nice. So yes, what was the inspiration behind that then? Oh.
So we had, before we started working on the I Am project, we had a lot of songs where it was just me and her. And rather than drop them as singles, I'm like, yo, we should do a project, just me and you, nobody else. And we just got to figure out what we're gonna do with it. And yeah, man, it's like we're becoming different kind of animals. She looks at me, she goes, "That's the name of this. That's the name of the project, The Becoming." I'm like, I like that. So turned into that, and I was like, "Yo, it would just put it in like a parentheses or something, The Phoenix and the Dragon," because then they'll it's something for people like a takeaway, so you can remember. All right, well, that's the Phoenix, and people will remember every time they hear the Phoenix, Bree. And then when they hear the dragon, it's like, oh, all right, the dragon is Frank. Frank's the dragon. So it's always a takeaway. Anytime I do something, it has to make sense. Whereas it's more than what it seems that you get right away. There's always something behind it. If you listen to that project, my last mixtape is called Just Being Frank, and all the songs on there before that, the album was the I Am Familiar album, and it was the complete opposite of that. The complete opposite. The drill songs, me like taking the gloves off, basically. That's why I said I'm just being frank.
I enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed I remember listening to because I had to travel, and I remember listening to the I Am Familiar album. Wow, this is sick. And I was because I was on the train. I had like a 2-3 hour train journey, and I had my notes out, and I was like, yeah, like because I was gonna try and like take some notes and whatever, and going wherever I was going. And I was just like, mate, this is just like you can't write it. It's just solid. Like it's just absolutely solid, like all the way through. And I was like, my God. I was like,
appreciate that.
I mean? No, mate, you're welcome. Like, it was so. I listened to it. I listened to it there, and I listened to it on the way back. It was mate, it was absolutely solid. Yeah.
Vibes. I appreciate that.
you're welcome.
But we got more. We got more to come. Singles and albums and mixtapes. I'm gonna keep making music until I die. Is how I'm feeling lately.
Oh no, well, I was gonna that kind of plays in with oh, I can hear myself. Kind of ties in, with like how people say about your music has affected them. And then I was gonna say, how does that come across to you moving forward?
There's more people to speak to. There's more people to help. There's more people to save. There's more people. There's just more people. Period. We get so caught up, like I told you, we get caught up on the numbers rather than the content, and the content is what matters. Capella Gray, that song Gallus, that song, he said that he put it in a group chat. Everybody laughed at him. 3 years later, that was the most played song in the whole year. 3 years later. So we got to stop focusing on the numbers and start focusing on the content. When you start focusing on the content, the numbers will come later on. The people will come later on. The people that need to hear you, they're going to come later on. Once you got that in your head, it's a go. Everything else falls in line, especially when you get great at something, and it's only by repetition. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team. They said he sucked. Michael Jordan. That's crazy.
And then also going back to the like about Brie and the I Am Familiar. What made you want to start I Am Familiar?
So in the beginning, it was just me and my brother Drew, Andrew Daniel. Shout out to my brother. He lives in Florida now. Shout out to Andrew Daniel. But that started. We did a song called I Am. It was the first song we ever did together, and that was the first song that we released out on like Spotify, iTunes, every streaming platform. And we performed this song one day. It was probably the worst performance that we ever did together. And after that, I had made a shirt that just says I am, and he had made a shirt that says I am, who are you? And they both had our names on them or whatever. So after we get off stage, a few people were like, yo, where can we buy that shirt? And I look at him, I'm like, I can make you one if you want. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. So we go to, he used to sing worship on the worship team at church. Bree was on the worship team as well. Emily was on the worship team too. That Sunday, after the show was probably on a Thursday or a Friday, that Sunday we go to church and the message is, I am. So I look at him and he's sitting on all the other side. I look at him, I'm like, nah, this is crazy. So after that, I was like, maybe we should do a brand. Super coincidence. So after that, I was like, all right, let's make a clothing brand. We made it a clothing brand. After the clothing brand, we were doing shows like back to 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 back. And then I did a song with Brie. It's called She's Gone. It's on my first project too. My first project that I put out on. So we did that. I think the first project is TGIF. Thank God I'm Frank. We did that. After that, we were performing here and there. I had a radio station interview at Maker Park Radio with Dave Noodles, and he had invited her to speak about her whatever she had going on too. So I was like, listen, just drive to my house with your husband, and then you guys just come with me so we could take one car instead. So we get in the car. Before we get in the car, I had spoke to Drew. I'm like, yo, I feel like that same message that we heard that Sunday where we started all of this, they talked about a three-fold cord. So you can't break a three-fold cord, like a braid, basically. So I'm like, I feel like we need a female artist, bro. I was like, would you be like opposed to me adding her as another artist? And he was like, bro, it's literally you started the whole label. So whatever you want to do, I'm with it. I'm like, all right, bet. We get in the car. We got to the radio station like 15 minutes before, so we're parked outside. I look back and I'm like, so you trying to sign and with us? And she was like, what? She was like, you serious? And I'm like, 100%. Like, are you with it or are you not with it? She's like, of course I'm with it. I'm like, all right, good, cool. So then we get to the radio station. We're doing the interview. They start, oh yeah, Bree Cruz, and we're going through stuff. And I'm like, oh, before we continue this, I want to introduce you to the newest member that I Am Familiar, the First Lady, and that's why she goes by the First Lady. If you look at her social media platform, the First Lady I Am, 3 crews, and then after that, it was just like we were going nuts. It was crazy after that. Like I feel like it just exploded after that. Everything went, oh, we want to interview you guys. Oh, can you guys come do this show? Can you guys come to this? We don't have a performance slot, but you guys can come sell merch over here for free. And it was just everything went crazy after that. And then I started to think about it, and I'm like, all right, but we did all of this with 3 of us. What if we add another female to the bunch and she just sings? Then we added Emily, and then after that, it was the same thing. We were going to do shows in Jersey and PA over here, over there, and it just everything went crazy. So we just been building from that.
I wanted to know how that come around. Like, so did you perform, like, because you met during at church? So did you like?
Well, I didn't meet him at church. We met through a business venture that we were doing. We're doing network marketing. Somebody told me, hey, I got some people. All right, let's go back. We were doing this network marketing company. Drew was in it, but we didn't know each other yet. At this
when
point,
you said brother, I thought Drew was literally your brother.
Oh no, we grew that bond.
Oh right, okay, sorry.
Yeah, we grew that bond. We were together every day. We worked together. We recorded together. We slept at each other's houses. Like literally, we were together every day after we met through this network marketing company. So at this point in the network marketing company, I was making residual income. I was like, they called it a senior rep. So they were paying for out of BMW. They were paying for the BMW every month. I'd taken like 26 vacations in 1 year. Like it was going crazy. So every time we did like a business opportunity meeting, I was the one that did the presentation. So everybody would bring their people. I would do the presentation. If you wanted to close your client, you close them. If you wanted to bring them up to me for me to close them, I would close them. So one of my boys writes me, he goes, hey, I got somebody out there. He's already in, but he has people to bring to the meeting, but he doesn't know where, like if he can bring people to your meeting. I'm like, yeah, tell him to bring the people. I mean, I'm just not for him because they're not my people and he's not my person. So he comes to the meeting. At this meeting now on Instagram, Captain Charisma, one of my photographers, he's there and he's just, messing with the camera. At this point, he's new to the camera, so he's messing with the camera. And the meeting finishes. At the end of the meeting, me and Drew start talking. So it's just me, Drew, and his name is Derek. He's like, yeah, I make music. So I look at him. At this point, when I got to that part, I stopped making music for like 5 years-ish to do the I was doing the business. I was so focused on making money that I didn't care about music anymore. He's like, I make music. I look at Derek. I look at him. I'm like, oh yeah, let me try some. So I put an instrumental on, and I still have the video. I'll send it to you. He starts doing this melody, and I'm just like, all right, well maybe we could do some. So he finds the beat for I Am on YouTube, one of those YouTube beats.
Yeah.
He's like, let's do something to this. We go to the studio, and he's not the person that likes to write on the spot. He didn't like to write on the spot before, but neither did Bree either. And they both do it now. So we go to the studio. I lay my verse in 20 minutes. It took him 3 hours to do the rest of the song. So we're sitting there, but this song till this day, this is the first song that we put out. This song till this day, anytime we go and perform this song, it don't matter where it is, somebody in the crowd is singing the song. And I'm just like, I remember we did the song one time in I think we only did it one time in Staten Island. I had the video for that too. We did this song one time in Staten Island, and at a certain point, I just stopped. It was probably like, it was a small event spot, so it was probably like 100 people there. The room was packed. You couldn't even walk. Everybody's singing the song, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, I've never, like, obviously we go to hip-hop shows and we sing the artist's lyrics, but for them to sing our lyrics the same way we sing these independent artists, like, this is crazy. Like, it was a different energy for me. So ever since then, it's like, me and him build a bond. That's my brother. Even he has an older brother too. His name is Jay. Since he moved to Florida, I see his brother more often now. Every time I do his show, his brother's with me. Any of those pictures you see me performing, his brother's in the picture, either recording me or singing, turning up with me. You'll see him in majority of the pictures that I post of my performances. He's there, right next to me. So it's a blessing. That's what I'm saying. You meet people by going through the grind, by going through those. If you didn't go through any struggles, you wouldn't know what it feels like to have the triumphs and the good things. We got to go through the downs and the bad stuff and the I want to quit. I don't feel like doing this no more. We have to go through that to get to the good stuff. So if you stop there, you'll never get to the other side. And I'm big on, since that network marketing company, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if you're lacking in one part of your life, it's going to bleed over to whatever else you're doing. If you don't want to do the hard work, that same thing is going to bleed over into when things get difficult and you want to quit. That's only because you didn't want to do the hard work and whatever the other thing was. So whatever I do, I give it 150%. Like I was telling you about the gym earlier. Today's 2 years. Before this, I would go to the gym 2 weeks and quit for like years of my life. 2 weeks, I'm out of there. Oh, I'm too sore. Oh, I don't want to go. Or I'm tired. Or I got too many things I got to do. Now it's like, I'm tired. I don't want to go to the gym. Well, don't be a bitch. Get up. All right, let me go to the gym. And I just got to give myself those prep talks, because I remember when I didn't want to go, and now I have people that see me even going to the gym. Yo, you look great. Like, you look way different than before. Like, you're way in shape. Like, what's the secret? There's no secret. You can't cut corners. Just being consistent. I'm not saying go to the gym for 10 hours a day, 3 hours a day. If you can only do 30 minutes, 45 minutes, go for 30, 45 minutes, 3 days. After the 3 days, when you start seeing the difference in 21 days, because it takes 21 days to create a habit. So whatever you do for 21 days is going to make a habit. Then you start seeing the difference. It's like, oh, well, maybe I could add 4 days. Now 5 days. I would say give yourself, like, just people I know that go 7 days a week, but you get bigger and you build your repetition and stuff after giving your body a break. So the days that you have a break is when you grow. 21 days. Anybody that watches this I know people are going to see this way after whenever we record. What's today's date?
It's the 12th.
People are going to see this way after. So after they see this, it's okay, 21 days. After 21 days, it becomes a habit, whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're going to the gym, do it for 21 days straight. Watch what happens after. If you're making music and you feel like, I could get better, so rap for 21 days straight. Every day, I know somebody does a freestyle video every day just to sharpen his tool. He don't even record it. He just makes a freestyle video. After 21 days, your skills are going to be so elevated that you're going to want to record live. You're going to want to go to the studio. 21 days is literally all it takes to make a habit. Just whoever's seeing this, 21 days. Whatever you want to do it for 21 days. If you don't feel like it's for you after 21 days, guess what? It's not for you. I think we about to die again. Hold up. Let me plug it in. Hold up. I'm not trying to lose you again.
I was going to say, I realized I've kept you quite a while, and I apologize. I haven't got it up there. But yeah, there's a book called Atomic Habits. And he says about, again, what you were saying about building the habits, but the habit also has to have a trigger. So, like if you're going to the gym, there has to be something that triggers that. Like, you're not necessarily gonna, some people can just go to the gym. Others kind of need that thing. It's like, I don't know, some might be as soon as they put, like, I don't know, their workout gear on, or as soon as they put the coat on, or as soon as they grab the bag or something like that. But it's that, like, that trigger that's like, okay, I've got this, now I'm going.
For me, it's the headphones. Once I grab the headphones, we go to the gym or we go into the studio, one or the other.
Can't remember what it's called, but it's basically like a trigger. It's something that
a trigger. Yeah, everybody has something to drive them, a driving force to make them go do something.
Yeah, and in that he explains more about that. But yeah, it's definitely like finding that trigger to help you get out the door. It could be health reasons, could be anything. But if you've got that reason, it helps a lot more than being like, I should be healthy, but like, why do you want to be healthy? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there diabetes in your family? Is it a health condition? Is it, I don't know, want to spend time with your kids? Or it's that sort of thing. And yeah, he explains that. He explains it a lot better than I do, but in that book.
Listen, you explained it just as good without having to use the words that he used. So he just spoke.
There we go. So I got two more questions for you, and I promise I'm done because I've kept you here for quite a while. Because I do like to talk, which is funny because I'm quite a shy guy. But yeah. So looking ahead, what does the future hold for you musically, and what are your aspirations for the industry?
Honestly, I don't even care about being famous. Like everybody wants to be famous. I don't care about any of that. I just want to leave a legacy where my kids will eat forever off of what I did. I don't care about the I don't and you can ask anybody that's around me. I don't care about being the person in the front ever. Some people call me, yo, can you come do this performance? You got a set? Yeah, I'll just perform on your set. I don't want to do my own songs. I got a song with you. Why wouldn't you highlight that? It's your song. I'm just on it. I don't always got to be the person in the front. I don't want to be the person in the front. Just what I am, they always make me be the make me be the person in the front
Because
because
you started it.
they see that the way the energy works. Energy is never lost; it's transferred. So if I could transfer energy to you, and then you transfer that energy to somebody else, it's just gonna keep going in a cycle. And now we all become great because it's just I'm not. It's not about me. It's not about me at all. Once you're selfless, that's when other opportunities start coming. I don't want to be the rapper that I always got to rap to do this. I could be the guy that helps people get shows. I could benefit off that. You know how many people I plugged in with V Henny with I plug in so many people with other people where it's like, listen, I don't want to be the middleman. Why does everybody
I was
always
gonna say you
need a
sound like a
middleman or
middleman.
all the time? I never want to, and I always if somebody asks me, all right, how do you do these paid shows? Well, I work with V. I sell tickets. Majority of the artists don't want to sell tickets. They want to be paid for something that they're not doing. How can I pay you for some just by you coming to the show if you're not bringing anybody to buy tickets? What am I paying you for? It makes no sense. So when I start breaking these things down, I'm like, all right, when you do a performance, how many people genuinely do you have with you? 10. What if you made PC off those 10 tickets that you were going to sell anyway? Wouldn't you entice you to get more ticket sales? Of course. Okay. So what if you get 20 people and I give you 50% of those 20 tickets and each ticket is $25? Now you're like, hell yeah. What? 8-minute performance? I'm going to get paid $200, whatever, for 8 minutes of your life? You're not even getting that in a job.
Yeah.
8 minutes, 12 minutes. The biggest set somebody usually does is like a 30-minute set. And if you're doing a 30-minute set, usually you're headlining. And at that point, you're making ticket sales off of everybody that bought a ticket in the whole place. So imagine that. You get from the 8 minutes or whatever tickets you sell to 12 minutes to 15 minutes to 30 minutes. And when you get into the 30-minute mark, now you're getting PC off of everybody that booked for the whole entire show. I'll take that any day.
Yep.
What's minimum wage now? $17? People get a job and it's like, well, I got to pay for my house that I'm not in because I'm working this job. I got to get a job to pay for this car that I'm financing or leasing, and you're not even in the car because you're at the job. So basically, they're just paying you forget about your dreams and your aspects. I'm gonna pay you so you can survive and not excel in life. That's what a job is. Just over broke.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's quite, and especially the amount of time you get that, like, you spend there. I mean, you spending
Even the travel to get there, you sitting in traffic. You waste about it's 24 hours in a day. You probably waste the average person will waste like
10.
10 to 12 hours just for work. Even if you're not working, if you're just traveling there, sitting in traffic, 12 hours. So you got 12 hours left, and majority of the world is I'm so tired. I'm gonna go home, eat, take a shower, and go to sleep. What it should be is if I work 8 hours for this other person, when I get out of work, I'm gonna work 8 hours for me and what I want to do and my passion. Remember, 9 to 5 pays the bills. 5 to 9 creates your life.
All right. So this again, I might have kind of answered this a little earlier on with what you were saying. For aspiring musicians, what advice would you offer on their personal journey?
Keep going. Like I said, somebody needs to hear your story. It's not anybody that you know. So forget your mom, forget your dad. I'm not saying like forget about them, but I'm saying is there's somebody that you don't know that needs to hear your story because they're going through the same thing that you're going through or you went through, and they think that they're the only ones going through it. So just keep going. Put your foot on the gas. There's no need for breaks. If you need a break, then what do you need a break from? Are you making the amount of money that you want to make for yourself? Are you where you want to be in life? Or are you there financially, mentally, physically, spiritually? Like, a majority of people don't know why they do a lot of things that they do. And if you don't have a reason why you're doing it, you're never going to succeed. It's going to be always a thing in the back end, a hobby. Remember, hobbies cost money. Businesses make money. Which side of the fence you want to be on?
I knew it was gonna be the consistency. That's kind of been the subject of our long talk. Of our long talk.
Listen, we got a lot of jewels and gems in here. I can't wait to re-see the whole thing in one piece where it's like, this video, 10 years from now, we're gonna look back at this video and be like, you remember this?
Well, hopefully in 10 years we'll be doing this in person, mate.
And before 10 years we should be doing. I should be the first person that gets invited to this fire in the booth.
Mate, I'd tell you, like, when the money come and I come over there, you'll be the first, mate. You like what? Where is it? You were on my little list. You were the first name. You were the first name there, and that again, as I said earlier on, was because you did me a solid on the uni thing. So yeah, mate, you're don't worry, you're on the list. You're on the list no matter what. Or if you come over here, whatever happens first, but you're there, man. You're there.
Whichever way it works out. And it's crazy. I'm gonna tell you a little short story about that song. When you sent me that song, it was around the time where I was like, yo, I don't want to make music anymore. So when you sent it, it was like, I never met this guy face to face. He shares my songs. I gotta do something. Like, I gotta do something for, like, I have to. So I was like, you know what? I'll do the song, send it. Because I was back and forth about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to make music anymore. Should I do the song? Should I not do it? And then you were like, it's no pressure if you don't want to do it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Send it. So you helped me in a sense as well because I didn't want to do music anymore. And you didn't even know that.
I do now.
so just now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there we go. See, talk about impacting people you don't know.
See, look at that. You saved my life. That's two people. Now you're really a hero.
I didn't save your life. I mean, I got you to an answer to a question.
So you saved my life because if I wasn't doing this, I would have been in the streets doing something else.
Yeah, true. But yeah, you saved my ass as well because I was like even though like I put together the beat and I had to do like the EP. I didn't like there was only one song that I actually like that I put vocals to myself, and that was a track called Broken, which was like the first track, and then you were the second track, and then there was about three other little random bits I put together. And yeah, and you got me some pretty solid marks on my
I was just about to ask you. You never told me what grade you got.
Oh, did I not? Oh, I can't. Oh, mate, I know I was close. I think I was a couple marks away from a distinction, which is like top. So it goes. So you get pass, which is like 50 to 60, and then you get merit, which is like 60 to 70, and then distinction is 70 above. And I was somewhere in the high. I can't remember the thing, but I know it was high 60s. So I just missed out on my distinction. But the feedback the feedback was incredible. It's just saying about the storytelling and the crafting of the project is unreal. You've created a classic without even knowing it. And yeah, that was I've got that somewhere as well. Hopefully I can find it to back that up. But yeah, that was the
nice.
That was the thing. So yeah, you did me a solid on that one.
I got you. Don't worry, I told you that song is gonna be on my next album. It's gonna be on the Just Keeping It Frank.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, so yeah, that's all the questions I got for you. So if you want to sort of introduce where people can find Nitti-Ice.
Listen, I got 2 different streaming platforms. You can either find me at Frank Nitti, Nitti. I'm on streaming platforms as that. All the new stuff is going to be under Nitti-Ice, Nittiiice. You can find me on Instagram. I am Nitti-Ice, spelled the same way. I don't really do Facebook too much. I mean, I'll post some stuff here and there, so you better off following me on Instagram. But make sure you follow this man right there. He's the one that got all the master plans. He's the one that's about to put together this banging mixtape y'all about to hear, and these fire in the booth or whatever he's gonna call them.
Or whatever they'll be called, yeah.
He's about to go crazy. That's the I'll put a stamp on it. My man's about to do some stuff that y'all ain't never seen done before. So let's get it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, Frank, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. So I'm gonna end this here, and we'll talk in a bit. So yeah,
My man,
people.
I appreciate you having me.
You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. So, people, that has been us talking to rapper MC Nitti-Ice, and you have been watching For the Lag of God. Until next time, people, peace.